Hello, Cancer. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for your June 2023 Tarotscope. It is my absolute privilege and pleasure to be here with you. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you. There will be in the description box all sorts of goodies for you to explore. There's also a timestamp in the description box if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. We are going to be looking at for you for this month what you have healed and learned from over the past 6 months, what you are moving away from this month, what you're moving closer to this month, where the next 6 months could take you, and getting for you a theme song or songs to really bring through some extra guidance. So let's dive in and see what is coming through for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what has Cancer healed or learned over the past 6 months, please? What has Cancer learned or healed over the past 6 months? Okay, thank you. What is Cancer moving away from this month, please? June 2023. What is Cancer moving away from, please? Thank you. What is Cancer moving closer to this month? What is Cancer moving closer to this month? Yep, thank you. Where could the next 6 months take Cancer, please? Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please. What has Cancer healed or learned over the past 6 months? Okay. Tell us more, please. Okay. Tell us more, please. What is Cancer moving closer to? How? Okay. And tell us, please, more about where the next 6 months could take Cancer. How? Okay. And all right. Can we please have a theme song for Cancer for this month? What song does Cancer need right now, please? For June 2023. What song or songs does Cancer need, please? Thank you. Okay, so before we dive in, Cancer, I do want to share with you, as I was preparing for your reading, I did see the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. So I feel like with those 2 energies showing up, first of all, I feel like you could be focused heavily this month for whatever reason on friendship or community and family. I just feel like those things in your life could be very prevalent currently. I also feel like for some of you, there's an aspect of that where it's like focusing on happiness within those relationships, right? It just feels like it's kind of at the forefront. I also feel like for some of you, if you're totally like, I'm a loner, I don't have friends, I don't need friends, etc. I feel like you're focusing on the things that bring you happiness and what it is you're creating. Right? Like it feels like what it is that you're building, what's coming together for you, and are focusing on that. And potentially, for some of you, I don't know why, you could be focusing on like building a family if you don't yet have one, or there could be an aspect of potentially working with other people to help you build up what it is you are trying to create, what it is you're trying to bring into the world. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't, okay? Let's dive in. Actually, I just looked up and there we had 4:44 on the clock, which is very interesting because 4s are about foundations and stability, endurance. Also can be about manifestations. And I feel like for you, Cancer, this is about, again, creating like stability and foundations, working on those elements of, for many, I feel, community, friendship, and family, right? Really, I don't know, it just feels like really building upon those things, solidifying especially the connections that are very meaningful for you, right? Maybe going through with a fine tooth comb, as it were, and deciding which relationships or connections are most valuable to you, which ones you want to nurture, and which ones are no longer serving you. But let's dive into what you've healed or learned over the past 6 months. So, you do have your action. You have the courage to express the unique, loving colors of your soul. So, I really feel here, Cancer, that for some of you, this is about using your voice. And I know that may sound very kind of, I don't want that to sound condescending, okay? But it feels to me like for some of you, you could have kind of been a bit like a people pleaser, is the word that's coming in. And or you could have maybe not, how would I say this? It's interesting because, again, for some it's coming through as like a people pleasing kind of energy, where you didn't want to like ruffle any feathers, you didn't want to, I don't know, it just feels like I'm just going to sit back here. That's what it feels like. And then for others it feels almost like it's not so much about ruffling anybody else's feathers, but it's more about perhaps not having the courage to step fully into who you are. Okay. Um, of course, as per usual, take what resonates, but I feel like this is something that you've been diving more deeply into over the past 6 months, having the courage to be exactly who you are. Right. And I feel like there's an uncovering happening, or an unfolding happening for you, right? Where you're being encouraged or nudged to be yourself, right? And this could kind of look something like, I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm not saying that this is your story, but this could be something like maybe someone says something and your response typically may just hold your tongue, or to not ruffle the feathers, or to not say anything. But there's that nudge, there's that voice that's like, you should say that out loud. And you could be finding yourself going back and forth within you, um, where that thing is like nudging you to say something. Ooh, and I just gnashed my teeth together, which is usually a symbol of that it's like chomping at the bit, that truth wanting to come out. And I'm having fear come up as well. So I feel like over the past 6 months, there's been this nudge from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it, to really just be very truthful about who you are. Very honest about who you are. And I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm not saying that you're pretending to be something that you're not. I just feel like there's that kind of like classic Cancer, what is the word I'm looking for? Kind of like diplomatic type of energy, where it's like, oh, I just don't wanna, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't, again, like I don't wanna create any undue tension, like, or unnecessary rather tension. Okay, so I feel like there's for some of you, moving out of that, right? Where it's like, I'm going to say what's on my mind. We also have here joy. You delight in the love of life and to bring a spirit of fun to all that you do. So I do feel that it's interesting, because I feel like for many, that's the word that's coming through, is many. I feel like joy is taking over the past 6 months, has taken a step forward. and has been very prominent in your experience, or has been something that's been like calling to you, maybe a good way to put it, beckoning to you in a sense, because I feel like there's this conversation that you may have had, and it may have been something along the lines of, it's not worth it for me to be all worked up about XYZ. Right? It's not worth it for me to let these things kind of impede on my happiness, or to get me down, or to be worked up about something. It feels like it just feels like I don't want to deal with things that don't feel good. And I feel like this is with others and within yourself. Like I'm not feeding into any of this nonsense. Anything that's not joy, I'm just not I'm not giving to it. Whether it's time, energy, conversation, um sleepless nights, well-being, right? It just feels like this is something that's taken is it's been put in the forefront. And I want to say that I kind of feel like saying to you, Cancer, like, it's about damn time. It is about damn time that you took it upon yourself to kind of put yourself first, to kind of put yourself at the forefront. Because I feel like I have done so many readings for you, Cancer, where it's constantly the back burner, where it's constantly setting yourself to the side, where it's constantly, and I'm not saying that to, make you feel any type of way. I'm just noticing a pattern. And this looks to me like over the past 6 months, you've been working on getting out of that. Or at some point in the past 6 months, this is something that you've been learning, healing, overcoming. Holy shit. Yeah, look, Ten of Pentacles, right? Because I just feel like this is like, how would I say this? It feels to me that there is this energy of, this is what I want, right? This is what I want. And again, maybe over the past 6 months you focused on family as well, but I feel that there's an element here of like, this is what I want. This is how I want to feel. This is what I want to experience. These are the things that make me happy. And so I'm going to keep building upon those things. Some of you may have actually been building a family over the past 6 months, but it's that kind of feeling of partaking in things that make you happy. I mean, here on this card, we have, there's like this family and everyone's smiling and they have the dog, like everything is glorious, right? And so I feel like you've been working on really kind of solidifying or creating firm foundations and what it is that you want, what it is how do I say this? The way that it's being shown to me is almost like building a house, right? But it's like building a house, and maybe some of you are actually building a house. But it's like building a house, right? It's like, I'm laying these foundations because this is how I want this to be. And so I'm putting in effort in these areas, right? Because this is what I'm building up. And I feel like for some of you, it does include a family. Maybe it's a business for some, your finances perhaps, with the Ten of Pentacles here, or maybe working on your health. Maybe that's been something that you've been very focused on, and maybe that's why you're deciding to choose joy, why you're decided to put yourself first, because maybe you're realizing what's important, like truly important. But yeah, it feels like you probably have learned quite a bit over the past 6 months, and I feel like you now may be in this space of trying to heal some of the things that you've learned about yourself. So what are you moving away from this month? You have cooperation. In your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person and experience has value. So I do feel here, it's interesting because I said that, right, we had the Three of Cups that showed up, now the Ten of Pentacles, which I mentioned before we started reading the cards as well. So I do feel that for some of you, you're moving away from, I feel, how do I word this? Like I was saying, any relationship or connection that doesn't feel conducive, that doesn't feel aligned with you, that doesn't feel supportive. And that's not to say that you're walking away or maybe leaving some of these things behind with any kind of, bad feeling or bad taste in your mouth or anything like that. It just feels like moving away from things that do not align or flow with what it is you want to build, what it is you want to experience. And for, I feel like this is occurring for a lot of people, right? Where we're very focused on the things that create joy, happiness, that make us feel like we can be ourselves, that feel natural, that feel authentic, right? I feel like you're certainly not the first sign to get a similar kind of energy. Okay, so it feels to me like what you're moving away from, again, is anything that does not bring value to your experience. And again, that's not because I feel like you're being, all high and mighty or anything like that. It is simply just because it is making your self and what it is you want to build a priority. And I feel like, again, like I said earlier, it's about damn time, because I feel like this is something that you have needed to do. Okay. You also have here the Seven of Wands, which, I mean, this is one of those energies that's, and again, it's like anything that does not feel good, because here's the thing with the Seven of Wands, if you notice, she has all of these wands pointed at her, and she's just holding her own, right? She's just like maintaining her vibe. She's just in this place of, I'm good. Like, it doesn't matter that you're pointing all these wands at me, right? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna persevere. And here's the thing. I feel like, because the Seven of Wands can be this energy of like mounting a defense, it feels like again, moving away from anything that makes you feel like there's drama, like you aren't valuable, like you don't matter, like right? It just feels like things that do not flow with where you want to go, how you want to experience life, and what you're trying to create, the environment that you're trying to create for yourself. It feels like, I don't want shit to do with this. Right? And I do feel like, anything that makes you feel like you have to be on the defense, anything that makes you feel like you've got all these fucking wands pointed at you, okay? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like separating yourself from that, moving away from those things. Because I feel like there's this need for you to be focused on you. Like, notice how she looks like she's in a crystal ball, right? It's like, I need to be focused on myself. Like, I cannot give to these other things, right? I just can't. We also have here the Six of Swords. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's gaining new perspectives. Okay? Moving away, I feel, from these things that, how would I say? Moving away from the things that feel like they're holding you back, that feel like they might keep you stuck in the same old patterns that you've been in. Right? Because Six of Swords in the upright is like moving away from things, gaining new perspectives, leaving things behind, right? Transitioning from one way of being to another. And I feel like what you're moving away from is anything that is holding you back from that. Anything trying to sink your ship, rock your boat. It's like, nope, I'm not having it. Thank you. Right? So, and the swords is that kind of perceptive type of energy. So I feel like you're seeing potentially things with new eyes, especially with what you've learned over the past 6 months. Looking at situations with different eyes. You also have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, so moving away from anything that makes you feel like you are out of balance, that you're in a state of overwhelm, that, right? It's like I said, anything that rocks your boat. That is, that's it. Anything that makes you feel like you have to choose between your own well-being and something else. Anything that makes you feel as if how would I say? Like anything that makes you feel like you aren't making you a priority, or takes you being a priority out of the equation. I feel like that's what you're moving away from. It's like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. Okay, what else do we have here for what you're moving closer to this month? Yeah, like I said, you cannot make this stuff up. Priorities, right? You're moving closer to what matters to you, making yourself, Cancer, a priority. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. Again, it's what do I want to experience in my life? How do I want my life to feel? What do I want it to look like? What do I want to experience? What do I want my environment to feel like? Making all of those things a priority. Again, it's about damn time putting yourself first. What's your clarifiers here? Three of Wands. Again, because I feel like there's this understanding, okay? I feel like there's this understanding, Cancer, that not making your needs and your soul's truths and that, how would I say, like having or establishing that connection or honoring that connection with yourself, I feel like you understand that creates obstacles for you, frustration for you, delay for you. I feel like yeah. It truly feels to me like moving closer to the priorities that mean something for you, because not doing so creates delays, because not doing so creates frustration, imbalance. Let me see, what else do we have here? Yeah. moving closer to what makes you feel confident, strong, what I also feel like there's this level of compassion with yourself that you are developing as well. I feel like that for some reason that feels like a priority to me, but it does. We have that action card up here with courage and that feeling of making yourself a priority. And I do feel like that takes courage, that inner strength. So I feel like you're continuing to develop that over the course of this month. I feel like you are continuing to, it feels to me like acknowledge the things that make you happy, joyous, and bravely pursuing those things. Because the strength card is the card of Leo, and Leo is that energy of, how would I say, it's that energy of like being happy and fun and warm loving, um, but brave as well, right? It's a playful energy, it's a fun energy, but it's also a very brave energy, a very confident energy. And I feel like this is something that you are pulling on, if you will, or an aspect of yourself that you're tapping into. You may have Leo in your chart as well, or fire in your chart, but I feel that there's some aspect here where it's you're moving closer to what you know to be true about yourself and courageously continuing to choose that over and over and over again. Because again, I feel like there's this knowing, and if you don't know it yet, I feel like the more you make yourself a priority, the more you will understand that not doing so like limits your future in a sense, right? It creates delays, it creates frustration, it prevents you from moving closer, and can create these feelings of overwhelm and anxiety and fear and all and the like, versus kind of like the Three of Wands is like looking to the future, right? Growing, expanding. And I feel like if you're not making yourself a priority, if you're not giving yourself love, the same love that you give everyone else, then you're stagnating yourself, right? So let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, Four of Wands. There's a lot of Wands energy here, a lot of fire energy here. So the Four of Wands is another energy of community and home, right? So again, I feel like these are the things that you're continuing to develop, continuing to nurture over the course of the next month, is to make yourself a priority, move through or past anything that creates frustration, delay, obstacles, that slows you down, that stagnates you, having the courage to speak up and to make yourself a priority, or to continue to make yourself a priority, leaving behind the things that, again, slow you down or stagnate you, and working on continuing to develop your community and your home and the things that feel good to you, that make life feel good to you. The Four of Wands can be a card of celebration. And if you look at the women on this card here, I mean, they're dancing, they're like having a great old time doing whatever with music and all sorts of fun, right? And so I do feel that it is about making life feel good and leaving behind anything that isn't that. Okay, so where could the next 6 months take you? Friendliness. You are able to recognize traits in common with another in order to forge love-based connections. Yeah, right? Like I said, continuing to develop these connections that are meaningful, nurturing them. And you may find yourself in very meaningful connections, very loving, very honest connections where you feel held. Now, am I saying that you're going to have, you know, a big old handful of people who fit the mold? No, probably not. I'm just going to be honest with you. But the ones that are incredibly meaningful, the ones that are deep and will be supportive of you, will be so rich that you don't need, you know, multiples upon multiples of them. So I do feel the next 6 months, you could be developing beautiful, beautiful connections with people that mean something to you. You know, these could be potentially lifelong connections. And if not lifelong connections, the interaction that you do have will be meaningful, okay? And deeply so. You also have here acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. Isn't that interesting? Because I said here that they look like they're dancing, and there's she has that musical instrument there. I don't even know what that is right now off the top of my head. I do in some part of my brain, but not right now. And it said, you know, I feel like with this acceptance, I feel that there are, okay, so it feels to me like this level of acceptance comes from a couple of different angles. One being accepting potentially over the next 6 months that, how do you say, there are just some situations that we're not meant to be in, that, well, you're not meant to be in. Okay, some connections, some environments that just aren't for you. I also feel like some of those situations could be ones where you feel like you give, and aren't held in a similar way. Now, you can expect people to be exactly like you, right? Of course. But I feel like there are, again, it's like if someone is so opposite you, right? It's like I can't do this thing where I'm dumping into someone else. You know, let's say they're gossipy or something, and that's not you, and you've been entertaining it for God knows why. It's like now all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is just not flowing with my life. And I feel, because here's the thing, I feel like for some of you, because Cancer, you do have this super, super compassionate and super supportive and super nurturing, loving side of yourself. I feel that there are times that you forego or you know, leave behind certain opinions and ways that you feel because you don't want to hurt anyone else, right? You don't want to make anybody feel left out, or you know, or anything like that. And so I feel like you'll just kind of, you know, bite your tongue, or you'll just kind of go along with things just for the sake of, like, you know, not making anybody feel some type of way. But I feel like there's, over the next 6 months, this development, and I do feel like it's already begun to unfold anyways, but I feel like over the next 6 months there's this development of, listen, this is just not for me. It's nothing personal, it is nothing against you, it just isn't for me. Okay, and I do feel like this is a very healing thing for you, Cancer. Okay, because again, I feel like you have sacrificed bits of yourself, and may have dishonored yourself and your truth times before, and just kind of accepting things, and or not even accepting things, but just going with things just for the sake of going with them. And now it's more like, no, I'm now accepting that there are just some things, some songs that I just cannot dance to. Okay. We also have here, wow, release. How about that? You have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. So, yeah, I mean, like I've been kind of saying, right? Ooh. So I do have this like tickle in my throat that's come through all of a sudden. And I feel like if you've been holding your tongue about something, Cancer, and maybe this is around somebody in your life, maybe it's somebody close to you, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your person, a close friend, something like that. Um, it just feels like there are some things that maybe need to be expressed, and maybe over the next 6 months you find the courage within you to do that, to express those truths. Or if you don't resonate with that, I feel like there is maybe something that you've been holding on to, and I'm actually seeing it as like something tucked into a corner. um the way it's being shown to me is like something tucked into like a dark corner in the back, maybe underneath something, right? Something that's been hidden and pushed and tucked away, that has been potentially something very difficult to confront. um and I feel like for some of you, over the next 6 months, you could find yourself with the courage to pull that out from the darkness, to pull that out from behind all the things, to dig it out and to work on releasing it, or to fully release it. And I do want to say to you, oh, I want to hug you. But I do want to say to you that I feel like this could be something that is painful, and something that I feel, for whatever reason, has you, or has had you, in a position to question your value or your worth. Okay? Which, I mean, this could also be part of this acceptance here. Okay? Could also be part of this acceptance here, because I do feel like for some of you there's this understanding, or you develop this understanding that carrying these things with you is not good for your overall well-being, for your health, your mental state, your emotional state, right? And with the pentacles here, there is that focus, or it could be a focus on your physical health or your well-being. Okay? To clarify, look at this. You cannot make this stuff up. The Three of Cups, again, right? This is friendship, happiness, community. Like I was saying, this is, I feel, this, over the next 6 months, development of beautiful friendships, loving friendships, connections, right? Meaningful relationships. I think this is beautiful. It's so fantastic to me that I saw these things as I was preparing for your reading, and that both of them have come through. Because again, I do feel like the next 6 months you are developing this, and focusing on things that make you happy, that make you feel supported, loved, nurtured yourself. You also have here the Seven of Swords. So, this is changing tactics, I feel, right? Where have you been potentially deceptive of yourself, right? Within your own mind, right? I feel that this is, right? And it's interesting because we have this acceptance and this, you're ready to release control. So I feel like it's, again, changing those tactics. And with the Seven of Swords here, there's that moon, big moon there in the card. And I do feel that this has something to do with those illusions, fears as well, that have been carried. So again, changing tactics likely. And this is through, I feel, the development of your own awareness and seeing that there's something that needs to change. We also have the Queen of Pentacles here in the reverse to clarify what could take place over the next 6 months for you, Cancer. So, I mean, it's interesting to me because I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is super confident, okay? Very secure in themselves, very resourceful, okay? Again, trustworthy, nurturing. And it feels like I really feel that there's this energy here where whether you are male or female, I feel like you've been neglecting yourself, right? It's like you haven't been able to trust yourself to around something. Something. I don't know if it's like trusting in your own security or something. I'm not sure what it is. But I feel like there's this changing of that. And maybe that's what's trying to happen here over the next 6 months, is this changing tactics to develop more security within yourself, or feeling more secure in yourself. What else do we have? Wow, the Four of Pentacles. I mean, because here's the thing, the Four of Pentacles is this energy of, control. It's like possessiveness, right? Holding on to something. And I said that there felt like there was something that was like tucked in a corner in the back, right? That you may have been unable to let go of. And for whatever reason, I feel like this thing, whatever this is, it makes you feel unsecure. Okay? Or something. Or unable to trust yourself, or unable to rely on yourself, or something. And I feel like this is where this acceptance and release is coming in. So it's very interesting. If we look at how the cards have been laid out, right? We start over here with friendliness, and it matches up with Three of Cups, which is a friend, community, happy type of energy. And then we have this acceptance, ready to release control, and the release card. And we have this Seven of Swords, which talks about either changing tactics and strategies, or maybe taking a look at where you've deceived yourself, or kind of tricked yourself. And the Queen of Pentacles can be this feeling of not feeling secure, maybe being, I don't even know, there could be some jealousy here perhaps. But again, in the upright, the Queen of Pentacles is a very trustworthy type of energy, a nurturing type of energy, resourceful, right? So it's kind of like maybe doubting, again, your own security in whatever situation. And with the Four of Pentacles here, it's like holding on tightly to something, right? It's feeling like you're like needing to control things because you would not feel secure otherwise. Okay? Or it can also be about like a blocked change. Okay. Which again, this is just reminding me of that thing that I was talking about that's like tucked into the corner, in the back, underneath all this other stuff. Of course, take what resonates. Leave the rest. If you're like, that is not me, okay, then it's not for you. Right? What is your theme song here, Cancer? You have I'll Find You. Lecrae featuring Tori Kelly. No, don't let the fear make you feel like you can't fight this on your own. You know I'll be there for you no matter where you go. You'll never be alone. So there's a lot of things I'm getting from this song for you, Cancer. One being that I do feel like there's something here that you may be facing that is something that you have, like, have, for some of you, have not wanted to deal with. Okay. That you may have felt like you don't have, the only way I feel I can put this is like you don't have what it takes to face whatever this is, right? To be able to release and accept whatever this thing is. And I'm also getting this energy of friendship, of people who are there for you or will be there for you if you don't feel like you have that friendship now, to be able to support you as you move through whatever this is. Or maybe it's family or some form of community for you, Cancer. And if you don't resonate with that at all, right, that you can always turn to what I would call God. Some may call it source, creator, universe, whatever name you feel comfortable with. You're never alone, truly. You have angels and guides, ancestors around you all the time, right? So you are truly never alone. And anything you face, you never have to do alone, ever. But, I do feel like this song for you is saying you don't have to do whatever it is that you're being asked to release, to accept, to acknowledge, to let go of. You don't have to face that on your own. And I do feel like for some of you, because I feel like you give in such a way and you are compassionate and supportive and nurturing in such a way, and you carry so much on your own, I feel like there's some aspect where you may feel that no one can truly understand. And maybe because you feel things so deeply. But do know that there is somebody out there that they may not be able to understand what you're going through, because it is your perspective, it is your experience, and we truly cannot know someone else's experience in its entirety. We can't. It's impossible. We're not them. However, we can be compassionate towards someone else. We can hold space for them. We can be empathetic towards them, which is essentially like, they can, how would I say this? I heard recently, and gosh, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was essentially like empathy means I suffer with you, right? And so there can be somebody there to help you carry that load if you let them. Okay? So I don't know what that is for you, but I do feel like this is a message to encourage you to move through whatever it is that needs to be released, to move through that fear, and to maybe allow others to be there for you, to help you through whatever this is that you may need to release. So that is what I have for you, Cancer, for the month of June 2023. Thank you so very much for sharing your time, your attention, your energy, and your lovely company with me. It has truly been a blessing to read for you, so thank you very much. I hope something here has resonated for you or been valuable for you in some way, shape, or form. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow, and it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable or important here for someone else. So I really do truly appreciate you doing so. Cancer, this month and beyond, okay, I hope that you are able to continue to show up for yourself, to honor yourself, and to make yourself a priority, and to surround yourself with people who make you feel held, and who make you feel like you matter, who make you feel like you have a voice, who encourage you to use that, who support you and nurture you and love you in the ways that you support, nurture, and love others. Have a powerful month. Take care of your beautiful soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.